promo.
It's a skin promo, you know? But shout out to McDonald's. I wish we had nuggets right now. I love their nuggets.
Oh, you know I love those nuggets. Everyone, every caster loves those nuggets, especially me. Anyway, we're on the draft. And again, it is an interesting one to see because we want to see how Bren approaches this one again. Are they going to do the same route? Do they want to do they want to stick with the guns that they played with during their scrims, or do they want to try and adjust to what Onic is actually doing?
It's going to be very interesting to see whether or not they're going to do the same thing or readjust just a few things. Because the thing is like this, Bren Esports, they knew what they wanted to do. It just got countered really hard. And right now we are seeing Flap TZ, a M2 World Champion here, signaling that it's going to be a 2-1. So very interesting aura there coming in from Flap.
Yeah. Onic Philippines, full respect to Kyle TZ, remove all the assets. It's basically like how you treat Carl when he was still with Bren back in the days. You remove all of his heroes to make it to a point where Bren Esports had to adjust the draft accordingly, and Onic Philippines are left to whatever heroes they want to pick. So I feel like it's a decent strategy altogether. But right now, Bren Esports, they remove the 1-1, but this does open up a lot of OP heroes like the Julian, Valentina, the Mashas, the Beatrix, and of course the Esmeralda. So Onic Philippines, still, they are the ones who are dictating the tempo of the draft. I feel like it is going to become a hell of a first phase for Onic Philippines. But I am really interested what they want to ban on this third ban that they have.
Yesterday's games were actually heavily dictated by Julian picks and bans. So, and we've seen like players like Yelly Hayes just go insanely bananas on that.
It's like all of his finger joints suddenly went back to day one of being a pro player. It felt like Yelly Hayes just drank the potion of youth.
The potion of youth. Wow. You know what? The funny thing is, as old as he gets, he just looks like a kid. Anyway.
Yeah. I think the most character progression we got from the man was when Mara Kino, our host, made him laugh in an interview.
Yeah, that was...
that was the most in the week.
I kind of had an advantage because I lived with the guy. I've seen the smiles like a ton of times. Even though it's an outside joke, like, hey, he's trying to smile. He always smiles. Come on.
He does.
He always smiles. He's a very fun guy, but in the perspective of everybody else, he's a very serious player. So I feel like it's an aura that he has to maintain.
But speaking of serious, who do you think in the new Onic lineup is the most serious out of them? Because I know Ryota's not. Like, Ryota's when we talk about fun guys, Ryota is a very fun guy.
Very fun guy to be with, but also very, very serious now.
Yeah.
Serious matters are on the board. Onic Philippines, they pick up the Julian.
Yes, the Julian. That's what we were talking about.
Yep, it is, a problem for Bren Esports because you know why Julian first picks are always nice?
Yeah,
why?
It's multi-role. You can play it on every role. Although Gold Lane, you want to be able to pick up the marksman, but for Onic Philippines, this gives them a lot of the flex factor that comes in during the first phase.
When you said multi-role, any role, I'm expecting a Rome Julian to appear in sometime in the future.
You haven't seen it?
I haven't seen Rome. Okay, fam.
Nice flex.
Nice flex.
Nice flex, by the way. Right there on your screens. And we are seeing some... I think these are going to be flexible picks as well. There you go. The Paquito, very, very flexible pick. At least for Bren. And it's a very comfortable hero for this team in general, even with their previous iterations.
And you know, the Beatrix going to be locked in once again. It's just no longer a surprise if the Beatrix is open. You get it immediately. And Bren Esports, they took away the 1-1. So as you said earlier, Midnight, this might just be the time for another Claude or an Erytha.
Yeah, or I want to see a Masha.
Oskov?
Masha. I would say Masha for Onic Philippines. Such a good hero against Beatrix. It's really, really common. But I feel like Esmeralda is a choice altogether as well for Onic Philippines. So they did pick up the Thams and what's the other hero? I heard the Thams.
Yeah. And a Cho.
You know? Wait, what?
I mean, Ryota...
Did they just give Esmeralda and Masha away to Bren?
Oh, who knows? Who knows?
But take your... They can only pick one anyway. So and they can ban out the other. So I guess that's a kind of an okay pick. But so far, Onic Philippines' lineup is tanky as tanky can get.
And these are all multi-role heroes. Like the jungle is still not
you don't
confirmed.
know
You don't know who's gonna jungle. We've seen Cho jungle.
No, we've seen Cho Jungle.
Yeah.
You know, not the best showing, but
Not the
we've
best.
seen we've seen it. We've seen it.
Hey, come on, Ryzen
And
won
just
a
saying.
game with Cho Jungle.
It's
It's a
50% win rate with 2 games played. Demon Kite lost once, Ryzen won once. So I'm not. You know what? This pick though, this Phobius pick is definitely great. But I do think Bren Esports, they have to ban out the Esmeralda because of the.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
You gotta ban it out, right?
That was I would say a little bit of overthought by Bren Esports.
Do you think they got baited?
I
Do you
don't particularly agree with the Phobius pick.
Do you think they got baited?
I think so. Or they, they wanted to pick something else, something more interesting. Because Phobius is such a good hero against the Cho and the Julian, because all of the dashes that you give to the Phobius just allows for more
Piles up.
ultimates and jumping up for the Phobius. But I do think that the Masha or the Esmeralda would have been a much stronger pick for Bren Esports.
Yeah.
But of course, it's going to depend on how they play the game. Now, for Onic Philippines, I'm worried about the Golden matchup that they can get. Bren Esports can just either ban out the Brody or Irithel on the last set of bans, or maybe even let somebody go through, because they can also expect that the Clint will also be an option for Onic Philippines.
Honestly, yeah, the Masha's being very heavily underutilized in the previous days as well.
Yeah, it's
So-
only Ren. It's actually just
Interesting.
Omega who played a lot of Masha in the hands of Renzio for, I think, the first 2 games of Season 10. So I wouldn't say that it's completely underutilized, but I feel like it's specifically utilized by specific players.
That's
like,
true.
If you're watching an Omega game, you could expect a lot of Mashas.
And I think that's what, Midnight's kind of thinking of. Like, is there going to be a Masha player that's going to sprout from one of these teams, right? I mean, that's something that you got to watch out for. I mean, Renzio's getting all the credit here. You know?
I mean, if this was Omega, you would have seen like a Masha pick
Either ban.
minutes ago.
Yeah,
So,
it's pick or ban
He-
against them.
He's the showstopper for a reason, and they did stop the show yesterday with a lot of the plays that they've made. Assassin-like moves from the Beatrix of Kelra. We may expect the same thing coming in from Bren Esports this time around, but looks like they're going to secure the Eve on their side for that position 4.
I am.
Eve against Stams and Julian, like you're asking for your ultimate
That's
to be cancelled.
problematic. Yes, that's very problematic if you think about it. But
It's be hard.
I'm sure there's an answer. I'm sure there's a reason why they would do this. And the last pick is going to be so crucial because of that. So you're going to have to see, you're going to have to pick up a pretty strong support if you want to keep this lane safe around the mid.
This is such a good choice for Onic Philippines. I love the Matilda pick. It's good against the Paquitos and the Beatrix. Also against the Eve, because you can cancel the real world with your ultimate, and you can get out of the real world. And I love the Claude pick. Even though you're up against a Beatrix, you can just quickly burst you down. It's an answer against the Phobius. So Bren Esports, what do you pick? You need a tank? I don't particularly agree with the Diggy pick.
Why,
Yeah,
dude?
I don't know.
Why,
They
dude?
can't.
I said
I'm not sure
it's
about the Diggy pick. I mean, I want to see a Natalia, honestly.
All right. Oh man, they're gonna
Ooh,
fight
old
fire.
school.
They're gonna fight fire with fire, and they're gonna go for the Kufra. But you know, just to say, like, I kind of wanted to see Bren Esports with a Diggy just for
Just
giggles, for
just for
giggles, you know,
giggles.
because it's gonna be so funny. Game 1 you lost to a Diggy, now Game 2
You win with the Diggy.
I win with Diggy.
That's like a
for the
spit.
entertainment value.
That's spitting in the face of history here.
Yeah, dude, exactly why I want
Who's
to
your
see
Diggy
it.
now?
Who's your Diggy now? And we are going to be loading up onto game number 2 here between Onic Philippines and Bren Esports. Again, a very direly needed win for Bren Esports. They do not want to start off the way they started off last season. That is something I'm sure is weighing heavily on the minds of the organization right now. We don't want the start we got last season here.
Yeah, definitely. And right now we are entering game number 2. And this is going to be one of those games where Bren Esports could either crumble the same way that they did last season, or just show the world that they are entering Season 10 with a newfound light. And I'm not talking about the light from RSG.
The champion player, you know? A championship light. Which again, interestingly enough, also sported that pick earlier on in his career, you know. What I want to find out here is how will they deviate from what happened earlier? Like, do you agree? I think Midnight's been having a lot of winces earlier when we saw the pick here.
I just have a lot of questions for the Kufra. Like, is it gonna be enough against a Matilda and Claude? Because okay, coming from a lot of games watched in MPL, Kufra never feels a good hero against a Claude or a Matilda. Because the way that Matilda plays around the Kufra is that she's very annoying. Like, if it's a tank Matilda, she's always gonna be checking the bushes and will always be ready for the circling eagle. So that negates the the initial initiation from the Kufra. Now you also have to take note that the Claude could just use a Purify battle spell and then have the Matilda take him out during the team fight. So there's always the the bad side. Like the Matilda is not. If you play the Matilda very aggressively against this lineup of Onic Philippines, I mean Bren Esports, then it's gonna become dangerous. But if Onic Philippines plays the Matilda with a very defensive mindset, then you flip the switch. It is an impossible game to play for Bren Esports because if you look at the way that both lineups work, Onic Philippines, they're just chilling. You know, you try to use the real world manipulation, we just get out. Like, okay, we'll just we'll just push another day. For Bren Esports, they need to make things happen. They have the Kufra, they have the Phobius, they have the Beatrix, they have the Paquito. They need to execute. They need to be really, really aggressive. And on the side of Onic Philippines, they have a lot of ways to just completely negate that.
And how they are going to negate that is actually very interesting. They have so many tools to do it. And the only thing I'm thinking about is maybe Kufra can work well against high mobility heroes like Cho. You know, I have so many memories of being blocked by a bouncing ball as a Cho player. So this mid lane lineup, this mid lane matchup rather, is going to be so interesting to watch. Let's head on over to Land of Dawn and see it all unfold.
Yeah, I'm going to be very excited to see whether or not this is going to be an aggressive Matilda or a defensive Matilda, because a lot of the aggressive Matilda players love to go in for early rotations just to make sure that they deal a good amount of damage with their wisps, but a lot of the defensive Matildas are known for making plays only when it's necessary.
I'm surprised that Nets chose to go the sprint route instead of the Purify, so he needs to be really, really careful against the jumps of the Kufra. But Kyle TZ, interestingly, is rocking the High and Dry emblem instead of the usual killing spree on the Paquito.
I could feel the tone, Midnight. I feel like you don't like it at all.
I don't like it at all.
Yeah, normal.
Because of the fact that Onic Philippines, they love grouping up. Matilda is always going to be there to save people. And even though the added 7% damage is nice from the High and Dry, the main concern here is not even the damage output. Like, the main concern here is how many fights do you get before Onic pops off?
Ooh, that is a good question. I mean, this is going to fall off eventually, especially when you head on to the big team fights. That's something that we're all going to have to watch out for and expect Kyle TZ to go on his own for a majority of the game.
Yeah.
And that's the only way that you can utilize that, or maximize that, rather.
In 20 seconds from now, the first turtle will be spawning. A great power spike here for Kyle TZ. We all know what a high and dry Paquito could do at this phase of the game. Doesn't matter if he only has one item, he's going to burst you down.
Yeah. Now, Kyle TZ, the question is, where does he go after being level 4? Usually you go for the gold lane.
Instant answer. I love it. You asked a question, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, where lane do you go? Like, who do you gank? Do you gank the Thams or do you gank the
You gank Jome, because he's going to go down with a 4-man gank in first blood. Will go to the hands of Onic Philippines.
That is a lot of gold that is going to the pocket of Onic Philippines, but at least Bren Esports does get a consolation prize, get that turtle buff.
Yeah, and now Sensui going out with style there. I love the animations coming in from the Julian, especially that upgraded sword. It feels like it's very anime if you think about it.
By the way, just want to point out, this is where you start seeing the difference between real professional players like Ryota, who's been around in the league since Season 7. He blocked the Paquito from getting the orange buff of Sensui, because Sensui was nowhere near his orange buff. So the Thams, instead of going to his lane as immediate as possible, he just stood there in the small bush. He's trying to say to Caldizi, like, where are you going? Come on, go back to your own jungle. We just want to play a game.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Ryota has been very proficient with the FAMs previously. So if you were maybe a big Ryota fan from before, you'd know that maybe Onic really wasn't thinking about putting the FAMs on the jungle, which is interesting because it's a very flexible pick. So at this point, Ryota definitely is showing up as he did before. And right now, we are in a bit of a stalemate. Obviously, map control is very sensitive.
Oh, Gwen with a massive ultimate, but he gets kicked back. Look like the damage coming in from Onic. The Philippines is more than enough to take him not down yet. He's really tanky, and Kyle TZ looking for blood here. The double jab combo on Rapidude, but he's just gonna Jute Kondo out.
Yep, that's Onic Philippines now on the defensive, and
Ooh, the
nasty
shotgun from Jome deletes one. And that's going to be the first dead of Nets.
Yeah, the most amazing thing about that, how casually Jome did that. He just walked up in the front. He didn't even dash in.
Yeah, he was like, okay, PMA out. Paquito is on the back line. Just try to get back. You're gonna be punched in the face. So Bren Esports, they found a kill on the top lane. So that's one, but it's already 4 minutes. Have to make a lot of the moves starting from now because the Claude is getting a lot of the farm on his side. It's getting items that he need. Bren Esports need to wrap up the momentum in the pacing of this game, which is going to become easy because the Paquito now has a lot of damage output considering that he already has the Honda Strike. It's just a matter of trying to find opportunity against Onic Philippines. Ogwen and Kyle TZ need to sync up for this to happen.
Finally, maximizing some control on the map. And again, that's 2 turtles going over to Bren Esports means that, you know, at least they're not getting bullied completely like they did in the previous game. But at this point, they still need to figure out this mid lane because, again, despite being a little bit behind, Onic still retain control of that mid. They still have the potential to actually just take control of this game from there.
And now entering the 5-minute mark, looks like the center of the attention of Onic Philippines is just going back to the side lanes again and again. Here comes the Circling Eagle from Super Prince. There's not going to be any follow-up from Onic Philippines, though.
Yep. As a Phobius player myself, I really like that everyone's dashing around me. Yeah, go ahead. And I will take all of these procs on my passive, and I will just keep casting my skills.
Yep, but it was pointless at that point. So Pandora was really really calm. Trigger discipline is the key here for Bren Esports. But on the top lane, Claude is getting a lot of free farm on this lane. Even though Bren Esports managed to take out a tower, he is still sitting there without any concerns, without any worries. Ogwen jumping in, getting some vision, but the turtle is 35 seconds away. So both teams are taking to look at controlling the mid lane, which is an important thing for the players out there. If you want to take control of the turtle, you have to take control of the mid lane.
Yes, 30 seconds before a turtle take, maybe clear these minion waves, and your team will be in a better position to actually get in those bushes before the turtle spawns. And then you can have a better chance in team fight.
Yeah, and we could see that both junglers are trying to clear out the opposite side of the turtle first before actually responding, which means Onic Philippines might just have a position advantage here, but looks like they're gonna give this away and go to the gold lane instead.
They're giving away every turtle.
I think
they did not contest at all.
This is a decent choice for Onic Philippines. You don't fight, you farm. While Bren Esports is busy taking the neutral objectives, you're slowly gaining momentum, gaining the things that you need. Basically, just walking over to the finish line for Onic Philippines. So I feel like that's the right choice for this game. Bren Esports, they are the ones who are in need of the aggressive pace, but they haven't found one yet. Kyle TZ is still 0-0-0.
Yeah, I mean, basically Onic is like completely taking this game passively though.
Oh, a solo kill for Kyle TZ. It even secures the orange buff. Rapidude will be dodged in a way, that revenge from Ogwen. But Kyle TZ says the damage has been done. Give me the buff. Give me the jungler.
I love the instant answer from Kyle TZ. I think he heard midnight. Yeah. he spelled out his KDA.
He was like, okay guys, I have high and dry, I have a Legion Sword, I have more damage than ever. So Bren Esports, again, they're ramping up right now. Malefic Roar is now purchased. Onic Philippines, they feel like they can fight.
Oh wow, Ogwen will be the target here, but Rapidude is signaled to back off. Looks like Onic doesn't want this fight anyway. Bren Esports will not be able to find a counter engage, and there's no fight happening in the river.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Bren Esports, despite them looking like they should be the more aggressive team, they are the ones who are deciding to slow it down this time, even though a little bit of an opportunity did present itself right there.
I feel like they can just position themselves around towers, and Onic Philippines wouldn't be able to do a thing. But Bren Esports, they're playing this one carefully and methodically, I would say. It might be helpful for them in a way, but I feel like it's hurting them long term because the Claude is amassing a lot of gold on his hide. Even though Jome has 900 more gold against his Claude, you still have to be worried about the blazing duet impact during this fight. If Ogwen has jumped out and then the backline hasn't caught up yet, Bren Esports have to be concerned where the position of the Claude is.
Interestingly enough, he's not rushing the Wind of Nature here in this game. He's going for those steel leg plates, which means he wants to go build more armor.
Yeah, you kind of don't want to get bursted down by Kyle TZ, especially if you're the main damage dealer of Onic Philippines here. Speaking of damage, Kyle TZ, wait a minute, Jome gets solo killed by Ryota in the gold lane, and now it's a 4v5 scenario and the Lord take. That's 1/3 HP down for the Lord. Oh, Ogwen doesn't find anyone, they go in. Oh no, the turtle will get stolen by Sensui.
Oh.
Bren Esports, they're falling down one by one. That's a double kill, Pandora versus the world, but he's gonna go down with a triple kill on the side of Sensui, and now Onic Philippines will have such a big lead with a wipeout.
Can I just say the discipline of the 4 Bren Esports players to stop their dashes and walk around the Phoveus. It is so calm, it's so collected, they're doing so well.
Onic was like, okay, Pandora jumped out, let's walk. Let's just fight him. Let's just fight Bren Esports by walking. We only saw one commitment of the dash from the Blazing Duet with the BMI, but this was the issue that we were talking about earlier. Once Onic Philippines catches up to the gold and items that Bren Esports has had on the first few minutes of the game, they now have the complete control of the game. They feel like they are the ones who are better when it comes to team fighting and then split push. I don't even know how the kill on the Beatrix was possible, done in by Ryota. But at this moment, in this specific situation, Onic Philippines is in full control.
Yeah, and now Rapidude might be in trouble, but the Shunpo out. Ogwen cancels it with the bouncing ball. Ryota is in trouble. Got Inferno for some vengeance. Can he survive this? He's healing a lot of HP, but the Malefic Force will take him down. That is one man down for the side of Onic Philippines, and you're not going to secure an inhibitor turret.
Yeah, despite that massive gold swing by Onic, I mean, I think it was around 4K or 5K at some point after that fight. Bren Esports does still retain some of that damage, so I think the Onic Philippines should still be very, very careful when approaching these fights.
I think it's just the proper casualty. Onic Philippines, they didn't feel like it was the proper time to push, so Bren Esports went into the for the punish, which was a really good play. They realized that Onic, they're not committing. And now, since he has the Twin Blades onto his arsenal, expect a lot of burst damage coming out from the Julian if he ever closes the gap against these heroes. Kyle TZ with the Bloodless Axe, more more skills with the cooldown reduction, but Pandora, he didn't see it.
Oh, well, can Pandora actually stop this engage? Here comes the Malefic Force. He's inside 4 people on the side of Bren Esports. Sword out for Sensui. Pandora still jumping. BMI's already taking Ogwen with a one-man ultimate there. He's taking down the Cho, but Nessie comes in with a Blazing Duet. He's still alive. The knockup coming in from Julian. Pandora goes down, but Rapidude is also out for the count. It's a 1-4-1 in Bren Onic.
It is really very difficult to underestimate the damage output that can kind of just pop up here from Bren Esports. And when they least expect it, Rapidude just, man, wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, wrong place at the wrong time. But also Pandora, I feel like he was the main casualty there for the side of Bren.
Bren Esports, even though it was a good clash for them, Pandora, even though he didn't see the the sandwich plate Onic Philippines was trying to do, it was enough for Bren Esports to casually just take the fight away from Onic Philippines. But for what it's worth, they've gotten a kill onto Ryota. I mean, Rapidot. He's just a tank, and they lost the focus.
Yeah, and they did secure the
worth.
Lord.
Yeah.
They did secure the Lord, though, with very decisive shot calling from Bren Esports. So this is their chance to take back what they lost for the last few minutes.
Yeah. Now this is going to be Bren Esports' opportunity to take this game. And one wrong team fight here from Onic could actually just spell the end.
Yeah.
I think Bren Esports has all the turret-taking capabilities, I think Jome's pretty much built up, even though he is 1-2-1 right now on the Matrix. So
Ogwin needs to make it big in this Lord push.
they got to make it big.
You know, the shotgun defies all logics. Rapido forced the
what are you
flicker
doing
out.
there, my
He
friend?
does have the immortality, but the guiding wind will be the one to save his life. A Super Prince with a great play here. The immortality are still up for the side of Onic. They need to kill down this Lord.
While Lord's walking up on top side, what's going to be the play here?
Ogwin, nets, no sniper just yet. Ryota's gonna tank a lot of damage. Can they actually go here for
Kick?
Ogwin? Here comes the kick. No follow-up with the wave of the dragon. Pandora is in the back line. Sensui with a one-man knock
Oh,
of guiding
nice.
wind back. It looks like they're gonna go for the base instead. Pandora is no longer alive. But Rapido, here come next in the back line. He gets stunned up,
Oh,
but the PMI
whoa!
just in time, baby. Super Prince, he's gonna tank half of his HP. The sniper lands on Sensui, but the defense is successful for the boys in yellow, and I'm talking about Onic.
That was like 3 consecutive plays that happened there. I think Midnight wants to walk us through it.
Come on, like, did you see the way Onic disengaged against the real-world manipulation? Like, one by one, they jumped out. The Matilda was able to save his friends, even though they were in the face of Ogwin. And I saw the confidence of Rapidon. When he saw that Ogwin was charging up the jump, he was standing in front of Onic like, come on, you don't have Flicker. I know you don't have Flicker. I will go for the punish. And when he kicked out the Kufra, that's where Bren Esports started the real-world manipulation. They want to engage into a fight, but Onic Philippines, they were completely prepared to disengage, and they did that so successfully in a very quick manner. And you saw that jump out from the Claude. He was able to escape the clutches of the Kufra. That was because of the sprint. He popped it off before the Kufra was able to get the jump on the Claude. So the control was reduced heavily, and he was able to BMI out.
Yeah, very small, you know, micro differences between these players are actually resulting to very big differences in the result of those team fights.
Yeah.
And that's so interesting coming up in this game.
Now, 5 seconds from now, a 15-minute Lord will be spawning. This is very important for Bren Esports if they want to extend this series to a game number 3. But Onic, they're positioning themselves in a way that they want to take this contest safely. Half HP
It's
here
half HP.
on the Lord. Can they actually secure this against Onic Philippines?
Reset.
Reset. I mean, Bren's playing the mind games here, man. I'm telling you. Bren knows that they have a little bit of an advantage here, and they are playing around with it. Kyle TZ's damage is still pretty significant, so I think this Lord should can evaporate actually within maybe like 10 seconds if they're given free reign.
Yeah, and now Kyle TZ just slowly chipping down the HP of this Lord. The Luminous Lord already down to this last 20k. Now Rapidude, real-world manipulation here coming in from Fuse. Gonna secure the Lord. The Beatrix will be the one to secure the Lord, but Nets, he's gonna get stunned up. He's not gonna suffer a lot of damage. Pandora's in the back line, but Super Fitz is all alone on the other side of the fight. The immortality's popped here. Rapidude, he's gonna try to escape. Looks like the sword will be there for Sensui to go out, but Bren Esports, they're gonna be able to secure that Luminous Lord, and Super Prince will be the casualty for Onic.
That is a man down for 40 seconds as Bren Esports approaches the attack. Onic is going to have to pull off an amazing defense if they want to survive this. The Lord will be following suit in mid lane.
If Bren wins this, somebody has to pat Ogwin on the back. That cancel onto the Blazing the Wood with his first skill was really crucial.
Oh, here comes the ultimate.
Ogwin!
Nice set coming in from Ogwin. It looks like he immediately goes in for the base. Bren Esports takes it to game 3.
We've got a game 3, folks. And yeah, no one's going home with a 0 score today as Bren Esports makes it back alive against...